The Center for Wildlife was founded in 1986. There was a veterinarian, Dr. Beekman, who found that there was a real need for someone to take care of wildlife in the area. In the beginning, the staff were in a trailer with no running water, literally seeing about 100 patients a year. 1994, we moved up here to the site that we're at now, still working out of the same building. And really, we continued to grow from there. Every year, the number of animals increased, the awareness of people of the Center for Wildlife increased. There wasn't a lot of support financially. There wasn't a lot of in-kind donations, things like that. So people really were making do with what they had. It was a labor of love.
The field of wildlife rehabilitation is pretty new, and we were founded because there's really no state, federal, municipal, or private agencies or programs that are the place to bring an injured or orphaned wild animal.
Dr. Beekman is a veterinarian who started the Center for Wildlife. He saw a need that he thought needed to be filled in this area in New Hampshire and Maine. So he recognized that need, and we're glad that he did.
These animals are not being admitted because they flew into a tree or were attacked by a natural predator. These are human-caused injuries. And when we saw that, we saw there's an opportunity to prevent this. So we can prevent 2,000 animals from being injured in this way, or even 10,000 animals a year through our environmental education programs.
In the last 10 to 20 years, wildlife rehabilitation has really changed in that it's become a professional career. Now it's really become a science-based, veterinary-based profession that pulls from a lot of different disciplines. We have to be experts in ecology, nutrition, habitats, what they need for enclosures, and then, upwards of 200 species that we treat. We have to know all about all of their habits and foraging behaviors and migrations. So it really has become a lot more science-based and medical-based, and I think that's really important because it allows us to give the best care we can.
In 2003, we were treating about 1,200 animals a year. We had just 3 college interns, and we were doing about 50 environmental education programs a year. And we also did not have any on-site facilities to host groups and field trips. That has evolved over time, and now we treat 1,800 animals a year, 30 college interns. We're presenting 250 environmental education programs at schools, libraries, senior centers, and state parks. And we're fielding 80 phone calls a day from throughout the New England region.
The Center for Wildlife is a wildlife medical and education clinic, and my role as the education and outreach coordinator is to help develop programs and present programs to our surrounding community and community members. I think educators across the board, whether it's through environmental education or private school education or public school education or Montessori or, science or art, the really cool thing about environmental education and what I do at the Center for Wildlife is that it crosses all of those spectrums. And so I'm able to take these ambassadors or, our hands-on skulls and feet and wings into a classroom, in a science classroom, and meet state standards that, we're learning about evolution or we're learning about adaptations. And at the same time, I can invite a school group up or a private photography group up and say, hey, if this is your art and your painters or, even kids who want to come up and sketch or learn how to nature journal.
Our current building is a donated ranch house that has been retrofitted to serve as a wildlife medical clinic, central command office, environmental education, greeting visitors, and it's about 1,200 square feet. It served us really up until 2008, but then the demand for our services began to outgrow our room. So, we had an outdoor pavilion, We drive to Northampton to do x-rays and diagnostics for injured and orphaned wild animals. Our skill sets are, at the top of our field, but we are limited only by physical space.
Our current surgery is probably the size of maybe someone's bathroom, very small, like guest bathroom. So, when we do treatments or surgeries, initial exams, we love to be able to have our interns or volunteers or our veterinarian present so that we can teach and learn from the animals that come into us. Doing that in our current exam room is really difficult. I think that a new sterile surgery suite is going to be amazing and will allow us to give much better care.
This year we had a line of 35 people dropping off animals every day during our peak season. And, interns are bumping into each other. We might be doing a great wound care and management on a red-tailed hawk that a pre-vet student has never seen before, but we don't have room for them to observe in our tiny exam room. Or, we might have donors that are really excited about valuing Center for Wildlife in a big way. And I have a meeting with them in our break room kitchen. And, there's no space for us to sit and talk about how they want to leave Center for Wildlife in their will and have us be part of their legacy. So we are really limited by physical space only, and it impacts our ability to grow our services and put our great skill sets to best use.
Now is the right time for us to build a new center for several reasons. The first one being that we've completely outgrown our space. Second, we've spent a lot of time over the last several years planning for this, working towards it. We've spent an incredible amount of time working on our infrastructure, working on our fundraising plans, making sure that our strategic planning was in place, that our vision was clear, that everybody was on the same page. So we really have spent a lot of time making sure that we are going to be sustainable, that we're being responsible. So this is the culmination of a lot of hard work, a lot of time, and a great physical need for space. And the increase for our services has been crazy over the last few years. I mean, the number of animals that we've seen come in, we just had no sort of concept. I didn't have any concept. When I look at the census in the middle of the summer, and there's literally 300, 400 animals in care on any given day. So we really, we needed the space.
When we started the capital campaign process, we embarked upon a readiness and assessment phase, and it included reaching out to the community to conduct a feasibility study. And from there, we learned so much about what our community is looking for, which I think has really poised us to be at this point and to be launching this campaign.
We've been working with McHenry Architecture out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They've put together a floor plan that we researched, and we had to travel all the way down to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, to find someone similar to us that has that patient load and that robust education internship program. And so the new center, patients will be able to come in and go through their triage, their examination room, and land in the intensive care room without ever having to go into the chaotic, reception area and be stressed.
The total budget for the capital campaign is $3.48 million, and we're looking to raise that over the next 2 to 3 years. What that $3.48 million is going to cover is the building. It'll cover the shell of the building. It'll cover all of the electrical and plumbing and, everything that is required to get something off the ground. It'll also completely furnish and get our first floor, our main floor, up and running. So it'll get the medical clinic up and running. It'll get the education program up to par. It will provide office space for our staff, because right now we operate out of what I'm pretty sure was a walk-in closet for somebody, and there are 4 of us in there. So it'll give us the space that we need to be able to do our jobs, effectively. That first phase, the 3.48 will also cover nature trails, so that people, when they come to the center, they can walk around pollinator gardens and organic gardens that we'll be using to grow food for our ambassadors. It'll have a nature trail so that people can interact with our ambassadors better. It will also keep the medical clinic enclosures separate. So when our animals move outside, which is the last phase before they get re-released, they go into outdoor enclosures. But right now, our education and medical enclosures are all together. So having this new facility, having this new campaign will allow us to keep the public, the educational side separate from the medical clinic, and just give an overall better experience for people. If you have a passion for the environment and for being a part of the community and really helping to give back and steward the land that we live, then we absolutely would love for you to be a donor to the Center for Wildlife.
The benefits of working with the animals, it's immeasurable. It's very, very challenging, but it's also so rewarding to be able to take part in helping these wild animals, these wild creatures, is incredible. And they need it, and they need us, and we need them.